And correspondent Jonathan Kersley with all the latest now. Jono, the Trump administration and the president still very much unhappy with European allies over the Hormuz Strait.
Unhappy with NATO allies, unhappy with France, unhappy with the United Kingdom, despite the fact that the president has repeatedly said that the United States has the strongest military in the world and they do not need the support of others. But it is clear that this issue of the Strait of Hormuz, which is biting government economies and Western economies around the world, is taking a toll pressure-wise too, because the president has threatened in recent days to walk away from this conflict, even if the Strait of Hormuz is not reopened. This morning on Truth Social, once again, he took aim at NATO allies, saying all of those countries that can't get fuel because of the Strait of Hormuz, like the United Kingdom, which refused to get involved in the decapitation of Iran. I have a suggestion for you. Number one, buy from the US, he says. We have plenty. And number two, build up some delayed courage, go to the Strait and just take it. You'll have to start learning how to fight for yourself. The USA won't be there to help you anymore. It is a very pointed message from the president that was backed up by his Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, at the Pentagon earlier today as he stood alongside the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, General Kane, for a press briefing, an update on Operation Epic Fury. It was an update in which the Secretary of War said the United States is negotiating with bombs and once again left the option open to putting boots on the ground, saying the United States needs the aura of unpredictability in order to essentially try and keep Iran guessing while these negotiations, whatever they are taking form in the background between mediators, do so. Secretary Hegseth insisted, yes, there are talks, yes, they are happening, and yes, they are moving forward. And he was also adamant that there has actually been regime change inside Iran. This is some of what the Secretary of War had to say on the Strait of Hormuz issue earlier today.
There are countries around the world who ought to be prepared to step up on this critical waterway as well. It's not just the United States Navy. Last time I checked, there was supposed to be a big bad Royal Navy that could be prepared to do things like that as well. So he's pointing out this is an international waterway that we use less than most, in fact, dramatically less than most. So the world ought to pay attention and be prepared to stand up. President Trump's been willing to do the heavy lifting on behalf of the free world to address this threat of Iran. It's not just our problem set going forward.
Now, Pete, to say trying to interpret the messages coming out of Iran on the issue of the conflict is difficult work, well, that is a complete underestimation because you have the Iran Revolutionary Guard today threatening to carry out strikes on US companies across the Middle East, including the likes of Microsoft and Apple. So concerned is the US State Department that it is saying and issuing a message to its citizens inside Saudi Arabia. We are tracking reports of threats against locations where American citizens gather. We advise US citizens that hotels and other gathering points, including US businesses and US educational institutions, may be potential targets. And now Americans in those areas are being told to stay indoors. All the while there's the talk of talks and exactly where they hang. Well, that remains the big question, doesn't it, Pete?
Yeah, it sure does. Jonathan Kersley with the latest there from DC.